Hey guys, it's Angelo, and today I want to take a deeper look with you guys into the new and updated Shadow Priest talents on the World of Warcraft Shadowlands Beta. From new spells that help us in multi-target, to strong options for single-target situations, as well as an incredibly strong AoE spender, the Shadow Priest has talents which equip it suitable for essentially every situation, and today we'll go over them in detail. We'll also talk about some reworked talents, as it's important to address those as well when discussing talents in general. Now, everything you are about to see is still subject to change, and since this rework is still brand new, many things could probably still change indeed. However, the core of these new talents are most certainly set in stone at this point. If you would like to join the discussion with everything related to the Priest or World of Warcraft in general, then be sure to check the link in the description box below to join our Discord, and be sure to subscribe if you would like to see more of my upcoming content. We've been getting another surge of subscribers, thank you so much, and if you're new here and haven't subscribed yet, then what are you waiting for? Yes, no, you! Yes, I'm talking to you! Just hit the button, oh my god! And now if you want a detailed look at all Shadow Priest changes, the link to the video should appear on your screen now. But without holding you up any longer, let's go right ahead and have a look. Okay, so many of you at this point know that the Shadow Priest has received an almost complete rework once more, and with this rework comes a plethora of new, interesting, and actually very engaging talents. Now, I've covered all talents in total before, which is why we'll only cover the actual reworked talents today, but don't worry, you'll get a full rundown of all talents in my Shadow Priest guide, once we're closer to the Shadowlands release. Okay, so starting us off in our level 15 talent row, we have Unfurling Darkness. Unfurling Darkness is a very strong talent, and is certainly a contender for the top spot in the level 15 talent row, especially so when leveling, in Mythic Plus, or in just general content. After casting a Vampiric Touch on a target, your next Vampiric Touch is instant cast and deals 155% of spell power as shadow damage immediately. This effect cannot occur more than once every 15 seconds, and is therefore on an internal cooldown. What this talent doesn't tell you in the tooltip, but what you'll figure out when using it, is that it has an incredible synergy with other talents in our kit, namely Misery and Damnation, and we will talk about that synergy extensively in just a few minutes. Our next new talent is Searing Nightmare, which is a level 30 talent sharing its role with Twist of Fate and with Misery. Searing Nightmare is our only insanity spender apart from Devouring Plague and costs 30 insanity. It instantly deals 90% of your spell power as shadow damage to enemies around the target and afflicts them with Shadow Word Pain. If the enemy is already afflicted by your Shadow Word Pain, then Searing Nightmare simply deals double damage. Important here is that Searing Nightmare can only be used while channeling Mindseer, meaning it will be locked behind using it in AoE situations. This is no problem though, because Searing Nightmare currently completely shreds trash packs. Damage numbers will most likely still be tuned, but the spell in and of itself offers a great way for the Shadow Priest to deal strong AoE damage by actually spreading a dot to our targets immediately. Once more, keep in mind that this talent has synergies with other talents as well, and we will of course address them. In our level 40 talent row, we have Psychic Link as a new talent, sharing its role with Auspicious Spirits and with Shadow Crash. Psychic Link is very strong currently, as it too deals quite a lot of damage, but I honestly think this will actually stay that way. Psychic Link lets Mind Blast deal 60% of its damage to all enemies afflicted by your Vampiric Touch within a 40-yard range. This means that all targets who have your Vampiric Touch on them will take 60% of Mind Blast's damage as well, which allows you to weave in single target damage when fighting against a multitude of enemies. Psychic Link is actually balanced in my opinion because it only offers you damage. It does not directly synergize with any other talent, and only with our new passive, Dark Thoughts, which gives you the chance to proc a free Mind Blast, but that's, well, about as far as it goes. Okay, in our next talent row, which is the level 45 talent row, we have Damnation and Void Torrent actually, with one being brand new and the other receiving a rework. Damnation instantly afflicts the target with Shadowward Pain, Vampiric Touch, and Devouring Plague, free of any cost. It's on a 45-second cooldown, and keep in mind that Damnation only works on one single target, but synergizes well with quite literally 3 other talents. Void Torrent on the other hand channels a torrent of void energy into the target, dealing 360% of spell power as shadow damage over the course of 4 seconds. While channeling, all of your shadow damage over time effects, so all of your dots, are refreshed on the target, while Void Torrent generates 60 insanity over its duration. This means that Void Torrent can be paired with some good timing in order to reset especially your Devouring Plague, but also Vampiric Touch and Shadowward Pain on your target while generating more than enough insanity during its channel to cast yet another Devouring Plague on a different target, or just dump it on your current one. In our final talent row at level 50, we have both Ancient Madness and Surrender to Madness. Ancient Madness is a passive talent, and when entering Void form, your critical strike chance is increased by 30% for 15 seconds, reduced by 2% every second. This is a pretty straightforward go-to talent, especially so when leveling or when rushing dungeons, and gives Void form a quite solid push, while also synergizing well with both Spiteful Apparitions and even Auspicious Spirits. Surrender to Madness has been slightly changed again, as its cooldown is now a flat 90 seconds. Everything else about the talent stays the same though. You will instantly gain 100 insanity and cast Void Eruption on a target, and for the next 25 seconds, your insanity generating abilities generate 100% more insanity, and you can of course cast while moving. Should your target not die within 25 seconds, well, you die instead. We will talk about Surrender to Madness in extensive detail at the end of the video, because I've been getting a lot of questions concerning it and whether or not it could be strong again, but the short answer for now is yes, it can most definitely be quite powerful at this current point. Okay, now let's talk about the talent synergies I've just talked about so much in detail. Okay, so the first pretty interesting synergy I want to discuss is one that Ryan had correctly pointed out over on Twitter, and that is between Unfurling Darkness and Damnation, and into this we will also add Misery. Unfurling Darkness currently procs when using Damnation on a target, meaning you can apply Vampiric Touch to 2 targets without cost and as instant cast. You can also easily chain up to 3 targets that way by precasting Vampiric Touch before pulling one target, then using your Unfurling Darkness proc on another before topping it off with a Damnation on the 3rd target. This synergy is even stronger with Misery, as Misery and Damnation are not in the same talent row and can therefore be taken in combination with one another. This means that you can apply Shadowward Pain and Vampiric Touch on up to 3 targets with only 3 global cooldowns, and with one of these targets also having your Devouring Plague applied to it. This reduces our time to ramp up by a landslide and lets us easily weave dots around while maintaining our regular rotation with no problems at all. Unfurling Darkness is on a 15-second internal cooldown, while Damnation has a 45-second cooldown, meaning that you can fit 2 Unfurling Darkness procs into this time frame before the 3rd will be ready again along with Damnation. Keep in mind that Vampiric Touch deals a very strong amount of damage instantly when playing with Unfurling Darkness as a proc as well. Both Unfurling Darkness and Damnation play into our next synergy as well, and that is the synergy between Unfurling Darkness, Damnation, and Searing Nightmare. This synergy is not as apparent as the previous one, but the benefit that both Damnation and Unfurling Darkness grant you along with Searing Nightmare is pretty simple. The target of your Damnation will already have a Shadowward Pain applied to it, meaning that Searing Nightmare will also deal double damage to it immediately, and you're also able to apply an instant casted Vampiric Touch to another target through Unfurling Darkness, which then will have both Vampiric Touch and Shadowward Pain applied to it after you've cast your Searing Nightmare. One downside to Searing Nightmare is that only spreading Shadowward Pain is only, well, just a small part of our damage, and this downside can be countered with both of these talents when playing with Searing Nightmare. Both of these synergies should show you that it'll be fairly easy to spread quite a solid amount of dots around when in combat, which is something that this new Shadow Priest definitely specializes in. Now when it comes to single target, we of course also have Void Torrent, which, as mentioned before, resets the duration of your dots on the target during its entire channel uptime. Now Void Torrent in and of itself does not deal a lot of damage, but it's currently certainly noticeable and pretty nice. Whether or not it will be viable, or rather a viable option at launch, remains to be seen, but I'll be sure of course to keep you updated. The final talent I would like to talk about today is Surrender to Madness. I've said that it'll become quite strong, and that is true. I think that many priests are currently a little bit lost when it comes to Surrender to Madness, as they don't really know what to think of it, what to do with it, or, well, how or what to play with it. The truth is, Surrender to Madness is exactly the way it was before. The only thing that's changed is us, the Shadow Priests. Effectively, the only thing changing when using Surrender to Madness is the fact that we don't have Insanity to drain anymore, and Insanity is simply a resource to spend on Devouring Plague and Searing Nightmare. But since Surrender to Madness instantly grants you 100 Insanity and casts a Void Eruption for you, this makes it a heavy, pretty strong cooldown to use, because it gives you a free Void form and 2 casts of Devouring Plague, while for the next 25 seconds, all of your Insanity generating abilities generate 100% more Insanity, and you can cast while moving. This will significantly increase your Devouring Plague uptime, pretty much to its cap of 100%, and you will essentially be able to just smash Devouring Plagues like crazy in those 25 seconds. You're literally trying to nuke down your target as hard and as quick as possible before that time runs out, and should you fail, you die. Should you succeed, nothing changes and you will be reverted back to your regular state, and, well, again, should you fail, you play with death, so that's pretty bad. This makes Surrender to Madness especially strong as an execute cooldown, allowing you to burn a boss in the last 25 seconds of combat with as much Devouring Plagues and Void Bolts as possible, or can be used to try and kill a trash pack in Mythic Plus, for example, as quickly as possible. I'm pretty sure that Surrender to Madness will see a lot of uses, and I am very excited to see what other Shadow Priests will be able to do with it. Okay, so overall I'm very happy with these new talent changes, as you may be able to tell. I honestly can't wait for all of you guys to play with them in the pre-patch and figure things out once they go live for yourselves. Fortunately, we have a strong foundation to build upon at this point, as all of our new talents have strong uses in various situations and offer very exciting openings when it comes to our gameplay, allowing quite a few interesting synergies, playstyles, and flavors in our rotation to happen. It'll be interesting to see which of these will be the strongest once we're live, and I really hope that there won't be one cookie cutter build that we'll all be taking, but much rather we keep this tremendous amount of diversity within our kit. What do you think though? Are you enjoying these changes and new talents? Why, or, well, why not? Be sure to let me know what you think in the comments below. Now, I wanted to keep this video short and snappy, but when looking at the time at this point, I see that it's a bit longer, and I hope that I was able to give you guys some insights and strong input when concerning our talents. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you would like to stay updated on the content of my channel, then feel free to subscribe, and if you've enjoyed this video, then please leave a like. A special thanks as always to my supporters over at Patreon, and thank you everyone once more. Now, have a good one my friends, get excited for Shadowlands, and I will see you all in the next one.